Thank you for joining Effortless Attraction. My name is Evelyn McAleer. I'm the author of A Life You Want, Effortless, and The Woman's Journey. I'm a life coach, business mentor, and inspirational speaker. And my greatest value is making a difference in people's lives. So I hope through these podcasts I can make a difference to your life.
Effortless Attraction Podcast is sponsored by Maria Young Wellbeing, wellness mentor and creator of Infusion, a platform designed to inspire health, wealth, abundance, and a life lived with purpose. Maria conducts events, trainings, and the blending of practical tools for lasting change. Her mission is simple: to help you live well and rise strong. You can explore more at www.mariayoungwellbeing.co.uk or infusion.mn.co.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on another Effortless Attraction podcast. This is my first podcast of 2026, and I am delighted to say that my guest, it's her first podcast ever. So I'm delighted that I get to have a conversation today with Megan Boggs. Let me introduce Megan. Megan is a life coach who helps people rebuild their relationship with themselves by changing negative habits and creating a healthier mindset. For a long time, Megan was known as the party person, first one there and last one to leave. Alcohol felt like part of who she was until one final blackout forced her to face a hard truth. So if anything was going to change, it had to be her. She didn't stop drinking to become a different person. She stopped because she wanted to feel normal again. What was meant to be a short 3-month break turned into almost 4 years alcohol-free, and a complete shift in how she lives her life. Now she's a Shetty certified life coach, and Megan works with people who are questioning alcohol and feel stuck because it's so deeply tied to their identity. Her approach is grounded, non-judgemental, and focused on small, realistic changes that create lasting freedom. Megan is also the founder of Mellow Sport, a mental preparation meditation package designed to help football and GAA players stay calm, focused, and confident when it matters most.
Thank you so much for the introduction. It feels nice to hear all that back whenever you're speaking it. I know I sent it, but it feels nice to hear it.
When I read that line, the party girl, first one there, last one out, I am quite sure, hands up here too, there has been many a one in that position. Do you see, looking back now, Megan, it was a yearning, keeping the party going because there was something missing?
I think so. And I think the longer it went on, the more I felt like I had to keep up that person that I had created and that everyone else expected me to be. So I found it hard then to stop because it was just like a spiral and a constant cycle. And I had tried before to maybe step away from alcohol, but it was always like, what do you mean? Like, I can always depend on you to never stop drinking and go back to the house party and keep going from the Friday until the Sunday. What was missing was probably the person that I left behind whenever I started to drink at 15 or 16. That part of me was missing.
Yeah, and isn't it something that we perhaps at that age to have a drink and then unbeknownst, as we say to ourselves, it catches this wee grip on you. Then you feel you're identified as part of that, and then everybody identifies you as that. Yeah. Megan's great crack. There she comes in. She'll light up the room. She'll be there to all hours. You can always depend on Megan. And then having to be that then, I suppose, for others, do you find that through those periods that you did wear a mask for other people?
Definitely. Especially when it came to partying. I wasn't truly myself, because if I had have really wanted to do what I wanted, which was maybe to focus on my fitness and my mental health, I never would have openly said that to people. So I would have happily just, taken the next drink or taken the next drug, whatever was coming my way.
You know, I get to speak to a lot of people during the podcast, and actually, probably one of my recent ones was, a guy that he called it an addiction, but he had, gambling and drink and drugs. But as he now sees it, because he's working with people, it's from the inside out. How do we know when it's beyond our control or we've lost the run of ourselves when it comes to an outside factor, whatever it should be?
I think you know whenever it's starting to affect other areas of your life. So when it's starting to affect your relationships with other people, but also the relationship you have with yourself. So let's take alcohol, for example, because of that's my experience. I don't think I was an alcoholic, but I think I was in that, I call it the gray area. So it's like, I'm not an alcoholic, but I felt like I was drinking from a Friday till a Sunday and then feeling terrible about myself Monday to Thursday and then just doing it all over again. And so that's when I knew that it was an issue because it was affecting all those days after. And then it was affecting how I showed up for myself in those days. And then the relationship with other people, the people closest to me. Um, so if anybody finds that it's affecting those parts of their life, then that might be something that they can question, or probably already are questioning.
And isn't it a word? And listen, I have spoken to people again that have had issues with alcohol. And sometimes they don't identify or use the word alcoholic because I
Mm,
suppose people see it alcoholic. And we've had experiences of this within the family also, but people see it as drinking every day of the week.
mm,
Somebody that's sitting out in the street drinking out of a brown paper bag. But when it starts having a detrimental effect, firstly, and you cannot see it,
mhm.
as that other guy said, you're in that much discomfort or pain yourself. You can't see anyone else's pain.
Yeah.
What are you nagging about? What are you giving off about? But on your bio that I read there, you said it was when you took your last blackout. Now, when we're getting to the blackout stage, Megan, it's
Mm,
dangerous
mhm.
and very vulnerable for a woman also.
Yeah. And oh God, I've had many a blackouts. I can touch on that blackout story if you want. I've shared openly about it. Um, Now that was the last blackout that changed it all after a long list of blackouts. But this one was obviously the one that changed everything. So me and Sarah, my partner, we did a ski season in Canada, and it was New Year's Eve, 2021. Just trying to think of the year. And I was working. Everyone else was already drinking. And so when I finished work, I thought, and this was always one of my thoughts, I need to catch up with everyone else. I need to get to their level. And so that's what I did. And I did it very well, always. And then we ended up going to the next bar, and then we ended up back at a house party. And I went this way with Sarah a lot of the times. I would turn angry and jealous, and the complete opposite of how I would be sober. And we fell out. At this stage, I had blacked out. This was relayed to me the next day. She left, stormed off, and I followed her out. And she was walking in one direction, and I was legless. I couldn't really see, and I walked in the opposite direction. Now it was minus 18 degrees at the ski resort, and my friend seen us arguing, so she was able to follow me out. I was laying down lighting a cigarette in the snow. She got me home. I'm not sure how because she was quite small and I was legless, but I got home anyway. And I woke up the next morning with that same dread that I've had so many times. I'd had so many times. You haven't opened your eyes and you're thinking, I need to ask the person lying beside me what happened, and then in the second breath, I need to say sorry. And Sarah just asked me a question that completely changed everything. And she just said, like, am I going to have to call home to your mom and tell her something's happened to you someday? And I still get emotional saying that question because it just hit exactly where it was supposed to at that moment. Because if she had started saying, you better stop drinking, you better do this, or I'm going to leave. And I would have said, who do you think you are, trying to tell me what to do or how to live my life? But that powerful question changed everything. And I'm happy to say that was my last blackout.
Yeah, it takes something, doesn't it? Something profound to hit us rather than, as you say, someone saying, you need to stop. You need to stop putting us through this. You need to
Mhm.
stop the things because it kind of doesn't work. But as you also said, you realized I need to change.
Yeah.
And when you think of all of the things and look back, only that friend saw you and took you back. You wouldn't be here to share your story today.
Yeah.
So sometimes I believe in life, people have to hit what their rock bottom is
Yeah.
before the change is made. And it's horrible that it has to get to that stage for people. But
Yeah.
since that, then you decided, right, I'm going to stop this for a few months.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it just went on.
Yeah. So I actually did. I said to myself, I'll do dry January. So if anybody's been on a ski holiday, you'll know it's just party, party, party. So that's what it was for 5 months. So I said, okay, I'll do dry January and then I'll see what February brings. And then from February till April, I did drink again, but I was more mindful about not getting to that level. I tried to keep myself right. Still had a good time, but just tried to keep myself okay. And then it was the day after my 25th birthday, and I just woke up and I said, you know what? I am just going to try and stop for 3 months. And that would have been the longest I would have ever gone. I think I had done maybe like sober October or dry January and things like that. But 3 months would have been felt like a mountain to climb at the time. And then 3 months turned into 1 year. And then at the year mark, I was like, really think I'm going to bring it back in. I feel like I love myself so much more without it. And it was just to go back a wee bit. So it was the day after my 25th birthday on April 16th. And then my granny had passed away in the June. And because I wasn't drinking and I had been in that 3 months alcohol free period, I was able to deal with what was happening so much better. She was my best friend. I like one of the biggest losses I'll ever have. But because alcohol was removed, um, I was able to handle it that little bit better. And so I think that happening as well made me think, let's just keep going. And
Mm.
yeah, then I got to the year and almost 4 years later.
Yeah. And it's amazing in that part where, again, what I read out, where you get to find yourself. And I know these are words that people say, I need to find me. Who am I? Who am I when I'm not the drinker? Who am I when I'm not the party girl? And in that whole transition, or to this day, then, who is Megan?
I like to say that I'm someone who brings a bit of positive energy everywhere she goes, not in a sickening way, I don't want to say, but in a way that when someone interacts with me, I want them to feel like they lit up. And I am someone who inspires other people, but I'm also someone that does that for herself. And that's what I'm probably most proud of is I now show up for myself every day. And in doing that, I show up as best as I can for every single person I interact with. And that could be someone that I meet in the shop or someone that I walk past on the street. So I'd say that's who I am now.
Yeah, that you make a difference. That's what I was saying to you before we began, that effortless attraction is about making a difference for the better. Firstly, in our own lives and then the lives of others. But it does take stepping back or removing ourselves from that which doesn't serve us. Did you find in this whole transitioning period that perhaps people you partied with don't really have such a big interaction in your life now?
Definitely. And I actually did a post about this recently. And I spoke to one of my clients about this. There are people in your life that are only supposed to be in your life for a certain period of time. And those people that I partied with were supposed to be in my life for that period, and they gave me something. We solved many a problem sitting around a kitchen table at 10 or 11 in the morning. And I'll always look back in those times and smile, even though it's something that I left behind. But then there's also people that I partied with who I now have even stronger connections with, and who I was scared to lose during this like transition. So a mixture of both, I would say.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, and true friendship is people that will support you whatever you choose in your life. And I loved when you said earlier on, who is Megan? I'm the girl that I'd like to think that I bring inspiration to others, that I make a difference to others, rather than the Megan that went over her limit with the
Yeah,
alcohol. And she's like, oh no, here she
yeah,
goes. Here
yeah,
she goes.
yeah,
So you are now a certified J. Shetty coach.
yeah.
What was that like now for anyone that doesn't know? Jay Shetty is, I love his work, his positivity, his calmness. What did you feel in that whole period of becoming certified with himself?
It was amazing. So I did like I got to the 1 year alcohol free mark, and I just started to think to myself like I want to try and help other people like do what I did, change themselves, get out of the rut that they're stuck in, whether that's with alcohol or something else that they feel stuck with. And then I found Jay, and I think I read one of his books during my whole self development, Think Like a Monk, and then that led me to his course. The course was amazing because in going through the course, you go through another level of transformation, whilst you're learning how you can change other people's lives through coaching. It also led me to working in the company after I graduated, which then gave me another layer of transformation. But the course itself was amazing, learning from him, and then also doing your obviously your practice coaching and everything that was involved. It was life changing as well,
Mm.
definitely. And I wouldn't be here today without it.
Yeah. It takes quite a lot of work, for anyone that's listening and say, oh, someone's a life coach. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of investment, financial investment,
Yeah.
time investment, and commitment to becoming that. Now, listen, if somebody's doing a weekend course, becoming a life coach, I really pay $40. I
Yeah.
don't have a lot of time for that, but there's a lot, your listening skills, you have to. Oh my God, you have to keep just releasing, letting go of layers of yourself, of
Hmm.
that self-sabotage.
Hmm.
Who are you, Megan, to be helping others?
Hmm.
That those doubts and fears to think, listen, I can look back now and see the experiences that I've had. I can now see, looking back, the detriment that I've caused to others. I know what the changing point in my life was. So therefore, if you have someone coming, your clients coming to you, you have empathy. You understand.
Yes.
So there is no
Yeah.
judgment there.
Yeah. And I love what you said about that. Who are you to help others? Because I feel like now I've only gotten over that nearly. So in the October 2023, when I finished the course and I started working in the school in their operations team, I worked there for a year and a half. I got the operations manager, and I could see myself climbing. And then at that point, I was like, hold on a minute. I can be the director of operations in my own companies and help my own community. Um, but yeah, that's who am I to help other people. I've literally just, I would say, in the last maybe 4 or 5 months, started to believe.
Yeah.
And
Who are you not to?
exactly,
Who
yeah,
are you not to? Yeah, I know. But listen, it doesn't happen one day or the next. It's a process. And I think any of these things, even when with any of my own clients or people, and this morning I was talking to a lady that's doing so much, but again, that
yeah,
wee noise comes into their head, about who are you. I said, if we stop making it about us and how can I serve? How can I help? Is there
hmm,
anything, what can I benefit from others? And certainly that's what life experiences are all about. You're also then I like this part. The founder
Hmm.
of Mellow Sport, mental preparation, meditation is designed to help, I take it, football, soccer, and GA players to stay calm,
Yeah,
focused, and confident when it most matters. I have a
yeah.
good friend, Declan Coyle, who wrote the Green Platform. Declan has worked with many a county team and had helped and worked with them on their mindset when the going gets tough, kind of, or not to get irritated. So
Yes.
tell us a wee bit about that, Megan.
So it's a new venture, but it's something that I just, whenever you just feel like something is so right. I've meditation was the first thing I brought in to my life at the start of COVID, which is kind of when I started to, then it led to journaling, and then it led to the year later leaving alcohol behind. So it was meditation. It was the first thing. And so now what I'm trying to do with Mellow Sport is merge meditation and my love for football together. And the idea kind of came, I do meditations with my clients. Just as a meditation practitioner, I take them through one at the start of the call. And then I give them a recorded one depending on what we speak about on the call. And they all loved it. And then we were getting ready for our last league game in November for my football team. And I thought to myself, I wonder would the girls like a meditation before we get ready for the game. If we won the game, we won the league. So it was a big one. And we're a team known for falling down at the last hurdle. And that's normally the mind that causes that. It's not your fitness. And so I put it in the group chat, and I couldn't believe the amount of them that actually tried it. Girls that have never meditated before came back to me. All the feedback was so good from it. And then I thought to myself, I could do this for other clubs. Like I think that my meditations are really special. I feel like I've got a calming voice when I get into it. And then so I decided to launch the Mellow Sport, and it's for clubs and players. But if players want a personalized meditation, I can say their name, I can say the name of their club. I had someone last week, and what they do to reset in a game is they pick up a piece of grass and they throw it away. And so that was mentioned in the meditation. But it's very, very new. But I'm excited to see where it goes this year.
Mhm. Oh, I've no doubt. It's because they're all athletes now,
Hmm.
and so it's the mind and body.
Yeah,
It's the mind and body, as you say. It's so powerful, the mind.
yeah,
It and it's pushing through those self doubts, that
yeah.
procrastinating.
Hmm.
Um, and you're making such a difference, Megan, now. And I know uh, what you spoke whenever you look back and your partner, Sarah, your family, different people that, if we dwell too much on things we done or said, we keep eating ourselves up. But it's about forgiveness, forgiving yourself
Yeah.
and and thinking that's an old version of me. It existed,
Hmm.
but this is a new version and I'm certainly making a difference. So tell us then about your coaching with one-to-one clients. How do you work that? Is it online? Is it in person?
So it is online at the moment. I think I would like to. The plan at the minute is to move back to Tyrone at the start of next year. I just feel like I'm a home bird. I've been away. It'll be 7.5 years by the end of this year between Canada and now Dublin. So it is online, and I normally work with people over 3 months. My coaching is very, all coaching should be very client led. It's all about me just asking question after question after question. It's 20% me talking and 80% them talking. And it's all about them setting their own plan as they move forward. I've had clients before, they come on their first call and they say, you're not going to tell me to stop drinking, are you? I don't know if I'm ready for it. And it's like, you're creating your own like path as to where this is going to go. And then by session 3, they're like, okay, I want to drop down to 1 day a week drinking. Um, I try and create as safe a space as possible so that they can completely open up and let all their emotions come up. And we just, create that relationship to take them to where they want to go.
Mm. And it's not solely based around alcohol either with the coaching, Megan.
It's not. I think I connect better with those clients because I've experienced it, but it's any kind of negative pattern, if you want to call it. So it could be alcohol, it could be a negative relationship that you formed with yourself, or one that you've had with someone else, or it could just be a feeling of I'm stuck. I kind of know where I want to go, but I just don't know how to get there or feel like I can take myself there myself,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. And they talk about other self-development or whatever the journey, the more that you come to love yourself, the easier it is to let go.
Mhm.
That we no longer require it, because it would have been the same myself. Listen, when was the next place that I could go for the crack? I wanted the party
Yeah.
to keep going. And that's because there's an internal unhappiness.
Mhm.
And sometimes people look in on other people's lives and judge because of your actions. But I take a look at people and think, what's happening inside of them?
Mhm.
We take even a look at people that have so much accumulated, even someone that hoards stuff, even somebody that needs to be out shopping all the time. What's taking place inside that you need to be doing these things? What is it that you're trying to fill? So that's the thing, I think for people looking, it's not to judge the action, but rather what's taken place. Because if we were at peace within ourselves, if we were content and happy with what is, and certainly want to strive, if we want to have a better life for ourselves, will require a need for less external sources and forces to fill that void.
Yeah. For my clients, what I want them to do is find their way back to the person that they were before those external forces took over. So that's kind of what I feel like I've done. I've kind of gone the whole way back to 15-year-old me and what made her happy. Um, and I think that's something because we were all happy at some stage, but like, how do we get back to that moment?
Mm. Mm. Yeah, it is. And listen, we've all our environments and different experiences as to happen to everyone in life, which leads to choices, sometimes great choices, sometimes not so great choices.
Yeah.
A man messaged the other day and was saying about all the wrong paths that he took in life. And I said, but maybe they were the right paths because you wouldn't be where, life's good now for them. I said, maybe they were the right paths, just the scenic route
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
take to where we're at now. As I always say, I love talking to people that have had a colourful life. I love talking to colourful people
Mhm.
because if you just were born and nothing and you just sail
Exactly.
through this and sail through that, and like, oh, but I like getting my teeth into something. I like hearing
Oh,
about stories. And the more that we get and have conversations with people, honestly, the more our mind expands and the less judgments we hold on people.
mhm, definitely.
So, what would you leave as a final message, Megan, for anyone that's listening today that perhaps are thinking, I don't feel good about all this drinking. Um, I have lost myself with or without drink. Any closing message you'd like to leave?
I would say, first of all, just to go easy on yourself. January can be a month where all those feelings are heightened after the festive period. Um, but try and sit back and ask yourself what it would look like if you did try and leave it behind. And if you did try and leave it behind, or you were even thinking about it, don't put pressure on yourself to do exit like 3 months, 1 year, whatever. Just literally take it one day at a time. See how you feel. If you
Hmm.
could not drink tomorrow, that's great. And the next day, keep going and keep reflecting and asking yourself, is this making me feel better or is it making me feel worse? The answer is probably always going to be better. That's probably what I would leave someone with.
And listen, this podcast will be on the platforms for quite some time. So it could be January or November. You could be listening, whatever year
Yeah.
it is. But for now, at this period in time, you're also every so often you run meditation class. If anybody would like to give that a go.
Yes, definitely. So I started that this month. It's every morning at 7:45 in the morning. It has been amazing for the people joining, but also for me, it starts my day nice and early. Um, you don't have to join at that time, depending on where you are in the world. You can watch the recordings back. You can send me a message on my Instagram if you want any more information on that as well, and I'll get back to you this week.
Great. Well, I will put Megan's details in the description below. So, whatever platform you're listening in, I always love a wee bit of feedback. So, if you get an opportunity, leave us a wee comment on today's podcast. And a wee fun fact, myself and yourself are from the same county,
Yes.
and we have completely different accents.
Whenever I heard your voice note to come on here, instantly I just felt pulled to it because of the throwing.
Yeah.
But everyone does think Donegal, like down in Dublin, everyone would say, "Oh, you're a Donegal woman," and even when you tell them over and over again, Tyrone, they'll still say, "Are you going up to Donegal this weekend?"
Well, Megan, thank you so much for your time today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you as always for tuning in, and I'll get chatting to you very soon. Megan, thank you.
Thank you.